What's up, everybody? Welcome to Move the Sticks. DJ, Bucky, Rhett back with you. Buck, first of all, we missed you yesterday. We had a lot of good things to say about the Jags, man. We were just very positive. There was a lot of good energy there about your Jags.
I'm doing well. And before we even talk about the Jags, let me tell you, DJ, I don't know if you had a chance to see the Chicago Bears up close and in person. Like the way they attack the football, I have never seen anything like
Oh, yeah. They're swinging on the football.
Like I have never seen any team that is more obsessed with knocking the ball loose. And to be there, so on the call, Westwood won, Peanut Tillman is there. And so
nice.
To see Peanut Tillman won, that is exactly how you want him at corner. He is as long as tall and as whatever as you want. But DJ, I mean, they are relentless going after it to the point where, you know, when you work for the Chargers, whatever, I'm on the field, you're in the booth. But after the game, everyone goes and exchanges pleasantries. I talked to a couple of their coaches like, hey, man, get your team to go after the ball like that. And I talked to a few of them. They were like, man, Blues talks about it every day. He demands that they go after it. They demand it, they practice it, and then they reward it. So they talk about the rewards they give the players for knocking the ball loose and having a production chart and all this other stuff. And I can just say, and Rhett knows this from our time at the East-West game when we had the Chicago coaches and how they were. It's really remarkable to see how they go after it.
And I was listening to Peanut on the radio, and he was calling for he was saying, guys, that's enough. Like, you're giving up a little too many extra yards. Like, at some point, you got to get the guys down.
Yeah,
like
that's
Peanut Tillman
hilarious.
saying, slow down with the punches here. Let's secure the tackle, too. You know what I mean?
When it's too much for Peanut? When it's too much for Peanut?
I mean, they're uppercutting after it. Yeah. I mean, every time someone is tackled, it is pop, 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 pop. It's like on the speed bag.
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing that I've ever seen. But it works.
Good.
And what it does is, going into the game, the Jags had such a fear of losing the ball that DJ, early in the game, Evan Ingram catches one. He could get maybe 5 more yards, and he basically just collapses because he's worried about them coming from all angles. It's they've done a really good job, and I would say the quarterback, Kerry Joseph, is one of their guys that works on offense. He's a buddy of mine, and he works really closely with Caleb. And he just talked about how the light is going on and how they've really helped Caleb, like as a mix of some of the stuff he did in college with some basic stuff, and they're kind of evolving. But I'm gonna tell you, man, he is as confident as you can see a young quarterback be. And it's not hard, but when you just see the ball go in the hoop, there's something to be said for seeing the ball go in the hoop and how it helps you down the line later in games.
How's it come out of his hand, Buck?
Oh, he can spin it. But you know what's the funny thing, and it's really my first time seeing Caleb live because I watched all those SC games, but I didn't watch him live. The game is very easy. And I know people made a lot of comparisons to Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers, but here's where I would say the comparison to Mahomes and maybe even Rodgers is like, it's the calmness with which he plays while he's running around frantically that really gets you. Like when he's scrambling around and it seems like it's chaotic for everyone else, when you look at him, it is almost like his heart doesn't even skip a beat. You know, like there's this, he can go to the line, he can whip it all over, he can scramble, he can move around. You forget how athletic he is, but he's using his athleticism to look for shot plays. And so it's different. And as he's learning how to rein it in terms of like the risk taking, the Bears have a really good quarterback, and they're going to be a really good team because their weapons are fast, they're dynamic, and with the defense that they have, they can win a lot of games with Caleb Williams installed as their QB1.
Yeah, they have the Commanders coming up, I believe, in 2 weeks. So when they do, we're gonna have to blow out a whole episode on just these two guys 100%. And how, I mean, it could be the face of the league of the quarterback position, you know, for the next decade with what we've seen thus far. Jaden really from jump, and Caleb, what we've seen over the last few weeks. All right, we do have some news here. It's time for the lead block, presented by T-Mobile for Business. Football needs a network willing to go the extra yards. So do you. Go further with T-Mobile for Business. We got a trade, and it was one that I don't know anybody's surprised by, especially after the Jets lost last night to the Buffalo Bills. I woke up this morning, that thing was already done. Davante Adams going to the Jets. Rhett, surprise level 1 to 10?
I mean, I want to clarify this. Like, you are less surprised after the loss that they need this in order to get back rolling, or were you like
desperation?
Okay, That's yeah. So in that point, I would say surprise level is a 5. You know, I think there's a part of you that's like, okay, do we want to give up the future resources if this season isn't going to be
future? There's no future. There's no future. So you're selling it. You have a 40-year-old quarterback.
Yeah.
Your window is it is rapidly closing. You have given him what he wants, and right now it's really not working. And the fact that the last 2 games have ended on interceptions to Mike Williams, which was, not great in and of itself. When I'm watching the post game last night and Aaron Rodgers ran him over with a bus, I was like, well, this is over. I mean, it's over. Like they are all, he's going to get whatever he wants. You're pot committed. All your chips are in the middle of the table. So you got to play that. You got to play it. And so there was no surprise at all that this trade got done. It's not by the way, I will say this. And I'm sure Aaron Rodgers is probably right. Maybe Mike Williams, ran the wrong route at the end of the game. 2 things on that. Number one, most quarterbacks would not air that publicly. Most quarterbacks would take the blame publicly and then have that conversation with him, and maybe even a heated conversation with him privately. But publicly, most quarterbacks would own it and take it for their teammate. He did not do that. Number 2, I was around Mike Williams calling Charger games for his entire career. If you gave me a list of my 5 favorite, maybe even top 3, he might be one of my 3 favorite guys I've ever been around. He is an unbelievable dude. Yeah. And look, sometimes it doesn't work places, but man, I did not think he deserved to get aired out like that, even if he did run the wrong route. Fair.
I'm just curious where does Davante Adams make the biggest impact, right? For Aaron Rodgers in this offense, and how does it affect Garrett Wilson? And so where do we see the biggest positive benefit other than the fact that you've got built-in chemistry, right? You've got built-in knowledge and experience from Rodgers and from Adams on what each other expects out of the other one as things are happening on the field, right? So are we getting more easier completions? Is that how you see this thing essentially working? Get the ball out of your hand quicker. You know what Davante can do off the line. Get some of those quick throws that we saw back in Green Bay. Bucky, how do you see Davante having the biggest impact?
I really don't know because I think what you have is you have guys that can play nice together, but I don't know how it works within the fabric of a team. You have a young player, Garrett Wilson, who is ready to go to the next level, but now his growth is stunted because you're going to bring over Davante Adams. And I'll say this here. I believe Davante Adams is a descending player. I don't think he is what he was 2 years ago. He's definitely not what he was 3 years ago. And sometimes when you have an older player who still fancies themselves as a top 5 receiver, they think that they can do certain things and they're entitled to being the number 1 and top of the pecking order or whatever. Yeah. This to me only disrupts their locker room. It doesn't bring it together because I know Garrett Wilson will look around like, okay, so what does this mean for my targets? What does it mean for everybody else's targets? I don't know. Yeah, it's fine. I understand going all in, but I don't think it makes them better.
I'm Rodgers. I got to sell this thing. Deech. I got to sell this. I got to sell how this is going to work for Garrett Wilson in a more positive manner, right? I mean, I got to figure out a way to make both these guys feel the right way.
Here's my, and I'll try and spin it positively here. My 2 things. Number 1, I went back and watched all of Davante's targets. So he's literally fresh in my mind. I haven't just watched him. There's not a ton of separation. But what he is he's going to be where he's supposed to be when he's supposed to be there. He knows the offense inside and out. There's going to be a trust factor. You get blitz and hots, he's going to know exactly where to be, and Aaron's comfortable with him. So that's the first point. The second point is if you took Alan Lazard and put him on any of the 31 other teams in the league, I don't know that he gets on the field, much less is having the production that he's having. So that does speak to chemistry mattering for Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. The fact that he's been able to get that out of Alan Lazard. And now you have somebody who, while he might not be Buck what Davante was 3 years ago, he's a heck of a lot more talented than Alan Lazard. And Alan Lazard's putting up 100-yard games just because he's on the same page with the quarterback. So I think he'll be productive. My concern is what yours is that if you're Garrett Wilson, you are the Ferrari that's parked in the garage, and you're going to watch the owner walk into the garage, look at you, and get in the pickup truck and go driving away. You're going to be sitting here going dude, I'm a Ferrari here. I'm a Lamborghini. you're going to take me out for a spin, and you guys are going to keep using these other guys. Because I do think you talk about Davante maybe not being what he was and maybe on the slight decline. Garrett Wilson is already fantastic, and he is only going to get better, should only be getting better And I don't see how that, from just a statistical standpoint benefits him.
I don't know how it does. Like, I mean,
I don't like. There's
I mean, like, besides being able to ask Davante Adams different things about getting open and like elite nuanced conversation that wide receiver ones have, I don't know how it helps him. You put both of them on the field, you have to remove somebody, and it's happening at a time where you're just beginning to remember, oh, Breece Hall is a pretty good player. Now, if we can give Breece Hall and Braylon Allen the ball, maybe it creates more opportunities for Garrett Wilson on the outside. A lot of mouths to feed in this offense right now. A lot of check with me.
They have Pittsburgh next week. Is that right?
I think so. Coming up. Yeah, I think Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Oh, primetime game.
In Pittsburgh, Sunday Night Football.
So here's my thing quickly, Rhett. Quickly. Yeah, Russell, we'll get to that in a second. Here's a quick, Rhett. If you're coming into this game, you know what this feels like? This feels like, and I know all of the attention pregame, leading up to it the entire week. Davante, Aaron, and all I'm thinking of, I'm not thinking of those two guys. I'm thinking of Tyron Smith and TJ Watt. That's what I'm thinking of. No bueno. Bueno.
And Olu Fashanu and Alex Highsmith on the other, like, which is
Morgan Moses is back.
Morgan Moses. Yeah, he's back, right. So
he was serviceable. He played fine. Tyron Smith, go back and watch that tape against Buffalo. Not good.
Well, no shortage of storylines for the gang on Sunday night with Russell Wilson. Now, by the way, just a quick thought, like, Buck, does that make sense to you to go back to Russell here, or to go to Russell for the first time? You're 4-2.
I don't know, man. Like, look, you got a team going. They're increasingly becoming more and more of Justin Fields' team. You look at how Najee Harris and all the guys are interacting with him, and then comes look. Justin Fields has been the great substitute teacher, right? Everyone is thriving. We're busting. Now comes the regular teacher into the classroom. What does that look like?
This is like the reverse Kurt Warner, Eli Manning with the Giants thing, right? Where you put the older guy in.
It puts so much pressure on Russell Wilson to hit the ground running. Yeah, I mean, he has to hit the ground running with his team. And look, it wasn't that Justin Fields lit it up, but they won games in a workmanlike fashion. They were beginning to find their identity with him at quarterback. You now are changing all of that with Russell Wilson there. I think it puts a lot of pressure on the Super Bowl champ to kind of figure out a way to coexist with his team.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different dynamic. I'm pulling up their schedule right now because I want to see what's on the horizon here. So they've got the Jets coming up. We just mentioned that. Then they've got the Giants, and then at Washington, then Baltimore. So those are the next group of games. So the interesting thing is, man, you looked at the preceding games. I think what this might be about is about that loss to Dallas when they lost to the Cowboys and only scored 17 points against a defense that, as we saw what the Lions did against them the other night, not very good.
More plays on the field.
And look, I'll give Tomlin credit there. If we're going to teach, as we always talk about, and say process over results, I think this is a great example of sticking to that and saying, I don't care what the result is. We may be won, but the process and what we look like offensively, that is not good enough for us to get where we want to go.
Yeah.
How do you argue with that?
You can't argue that. I can't say anything in terms of his process because he finds a way to get it done. And maybe he is banking on we can have a higher ceiling down the line with some of the bullies that we're going to meet, because he obviously is looking at within the division. You're looking at Baltimore. You're looking at Cincinnati when they get it to go. Not necessarily Cleveland because they're struggling, but you're saying in those games, we're going to have to get to 27, maybe to win. I can't count on my defense to hold everybody to 17 or fewer points. What gives us the best chance to get to 26, 27 points per game? Maybe he's saying Russell Wilson can give him that. And it might not even have anything to do with Russell's passing ability, but his knowledge and being able to execute the check with me game and some of the nuances of winning the game at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I could see that part of it. But I think you're going to put yourself in a real awkward situation if this doesn't go well. Like, I don't think you have any, do you have an extended runway here for Russell Wilson? I mean,
you know who's not process over results? Your fans.
Yeah. Hard one to sell there if we're talking about selling things today.
There you go. Well, that's a wrap for the lead block presented by T-Mobile for Business. Football needs a network willing to go the extra yard, and so do you. Go further with T-Mobile for Business. I'll take a quick break. We come back. We'll have our rookie draft. It looks like, by the way, looking at what happened last week, I don't know how the results ended up the way that they did, but apparently Rhett won going away. We'll get into that right after this. All right. Rhett, you called it, man. I'll give you credit. Caleb Williams, 28 points. You ended up with 8 points. I ended up with 4. Buck got shut out, but the Marvin Harrison for a donut there. That cost you. You got a concussion right at the start of the game. So can't do anything about that.
I got that, and I got Brian Thomas Jr. did not give me a stellar performance.
No, he did not. You went back to the well one too many times. You got to be careful with that, Bucky.
You got to make sure. But you know what, man? Rhett, I was digging into my Dodger fandom, and I was like, sometimes you got to pull out. Gosh. You got to pull out your guys. You know, you got to trust.
Thank you,
KK Hernandez, to just figure it out. And you know, I trusted my guys too much in that situation. But that's
fair.
You know,
God, go Mets, go please, for the love of God, do America a favor. All right, as we look at the standings right now, it is tight. I've got a 1-point lead on Bucky, who has a 1-point lead on Rhett. So it's anybody's game here.
Parity.
We are knotted up.
Parity.
I feel like Rhett made up a lot of ground.
I didn't make up so much ground.
Who did I have? Did we have?
This is what you had. You had Caleb. You had Brock Bowers, who had a great game, and you had Bucky Irving, who had a big game. You won all those categories.
Telling you guys.
Well done. Well done. I get to lead us off today.
Okay.
And there's no surprise. I think, has Jaden Daniels been the first pick every one of these things?
I mean,
especially with Caleb having a bye. Caleb's on a bye this week. That's a no-brainer. I'm going to go Jaden Daniels here. Bucky, you're up next.
We know quarterback is a really big thing. And I would love for...
You're going to Tar Heel? You're going to go to Tar Heel Nation right now?
Well, I got to, because I want Rhett to have to make a tough decision between Bo Nix and Spencer Rattler.
Spencer Rattler?
Yeah. But I feel like I'm working against myself because Drake May is playing my Jags. But in this one, I'm going to have to work against myself.
I don't know. You saw, I mean, you need to keep your gig, so I'm not going to ask you to say anything. But I think the 85 Bears you guys are trotting out there right now.
We're having a tough time. So Drake May, come on down.
Come on down.
All right, Rhett, back to backers.
Yeah, so this is an interesting one, guys, because we got some running backs that are kind of stepping into the conversation here, and I'm not trying to give
Tyrone
things
Tracy
away.
Time.
Less about Tyrone Tracy.
How about Ray Davis?
Thank you. But can we count on James Cook being out again? I think is part of the question with that toe injury. Plus,
Kamani Vidal, do it. Let's do it. Come on, he had a big touchdown last week.
How about Indianapolis 100-meter state champion Isaac Guerendo?
Oh, wait a minute. Look, that's this guy. That is this guy no matter what. He's been touting
East-West
Isaac Guerendo for like 6 months.
He showed you he should have scored on that play on Thursday night. I don't know what was going on there. All right.
Are you going to pull the trigger?
No, I'm going to take Malik Neighbors and
hope he's playing.
And then I got another one. And with that, I'm going to go Brock Bowers.
That was my guy.
So all that just to say, give you the best. By the way, Malik Neighbors is still like number 2 in terms of rookie receptions. He hadn't played in 2 weeks.
I know. What do you think, Buck?
Wow. Man, I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place right now. I'm stuck because my favorite guys are not available. Struggling. But I got to feel like my guy's going to bounce back. So I'm going to stay with him for the long haul. I'm going to go with BTJ in this instance, no matter what.
Killing me. That's why
no matter what.
I got snaked on both of those there. All right, I'm going to go. Gosh, I gotta hope that Marvin Harrison. I'll have a backup in case he doesn't play. But I'm gonna go Marvin Harrison, and then I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna just put them both in that game. The Chargers at the Cardinals Monday night. I'll go with McConkey.
Yeah, he ended up with what, a 4 for 48 this last week.
Yeah, they didn't have to. I mean, they kind of jumped on the Broncos and then just kind of put it on cruise control. So. We'll see. I'm going to go with him on the fast track there in Arizona. Buck, you've got your final pick here.
Okay. Well, look, I think I'm going to take my namesake to make sure he's up. I think
go Bucky Irvin.
I think I'm going to go Bucky Irvin. See if we can get him in the mix. See if we can get him paint. See who we got.
Dang. It's actually a tough one for those rookie running backs. Like you've got Bucky's got to deal with the Ravens defense. Garendo's got to deal with the Chiefs defense, and Ray Davis has got to deal with the Titans defense, which is like the thing that they can hang their hat on here.
What about Tyrone Tracy? We're just going to pretend like he isn't the guy there right now.
I mean,
what are we
Rhett
doing?
can take him since he's.
You know what? That's actually a pretty good move.
Maybe
against the Eagles defense.
Maybe take him because he's.
I need a quarterback though, so it's one or the other in the matchup, right? Broncos Saints. It's Bo Nix.
How about that Thursday night? We're going to get a chance to see this one right away.
There's no way Sean Payton loses this game. Give me Bo Nix.
They're honoring Drew Brees at the game too. Oh yeah.
Give me Bo Nix.
You're going Bo Nix?
Give me Bo Nix. Yeah.
All righty, there you go. This is a tight race, guys. It's a very tight race.
I'm not going to win the quarterback anyway. So I mean, it's like it doesn't matter.
Here's my question: are we maybe a week away? We get if Ray Davis kind of solidifies his role there, and we'll see. I think even when they have a healthy backfield, I think he's shown that he deserves carries and touches.
I think we're back to putting a running back back.
I think we might have to go back to the old school. Got to have a running back. Got to have a receiver and a running back. So with Bowers, with the tight end stalling it.
Yeah.
Well, it's anybody's game right now, Buck. I don't feel like we're changing the rules with somebody in a big advantage. I think we're all basically tied right here. So a little fresh coat of paint. I like it. Keep it spicy. By the way, anything else, Buck? When are you taking? You taking off on red eye going back to London?
I am going to leave Saturday morning to go back. So it'll be interesting to see.
How long is that one? 12 hours?
Like 10 or 11. May break it up. May do it differently this time. I did a single shot. I did a nonstop last time. Maybe I break it up. Go to Atlanta.
Are you in the lay down seats? You're in the lay down seats?
Oh no, I don't know what kind of budget you think I have. No.
I just the Jags take care of you. 360, man. Come on.
No.
Let's go.
You don't have enough miles to get bumped up.
Do you know, DJ? You know those tickets are like $8,500.
They're so expensive. Yeah.
You know those. They're like look. They may love some Bucky Brooks and Duval, but they don't love me enough to.
Oh man, I love. There's nothing better than a lay flat.
Oh,
that's it right there, man.
I look up there with envy.
I have a 6-year-old car. I don't care about. Obviously, you can tell I don't really care about super nice clothes. I am a travel snob. It's because I've been scarred, Buck. We've been scarred from those scouting years, man. Like I'll gladly spend money on airfare and hotels.
I mean, I dig it, but there's a reason.
That's a little pricey. That's a little much.
It's a little pricey because I was looking and all those little upgrade certificates and all that other stuff. Yeah,
they don't do you any good.
Nope.
Yeah. By the way, Rhett, you've been flying a lot too. I don't know what happened over the last few years, but with my airline, when they put the the upgrade list, when you put yourself down for the upgrade list, I can't crack the top 30. I'm like, what the frick? Where are these people going? How many people are flying this much that I can't even get to the top 30 on the upgrade list?
You're on that American nonsense, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No.
Brutal.
We don't mess with Terminal 5. Yeah, the airline that Rhett and I prefer, we don't want to give them a free one, but I don't have to worry about that. I'm not far down the list. I'm not far down the list.
No, we're always top 10 over here, baby.
Really?
Yeah, we're always.
You don't even have a shot. It's not like I never even have to sweat it out in the terminal thinking like, man, I got a shot. Maybe I'll get in this thing.
No.
You paying for Wi-Fi too?
Oh, I pay for Wi-Fi.
Oh my God. What are we doing?
What are we doing, Buck? What are we doing over here?
$19.
What's this guy?
What are we doing?
But you know what it is? You know what it is? With airfare, it's like I'm the Jets. I'm pot committed. I've already got so much with this airline that I can't switch. I got to pay for the Wi-Fi. I got to trade for Davante Adams. That's me paying for the Wi-Fi every week.
You're going all in. You're in desperation mode.
I'm too far down the road. All right. That's going to do it for us today. Thank you guys for hanging with us. See you next time right here on Move the Stick.